All right, team, welcome back to After Hours. We are back for another show this week, and we've been going on some crazy shows these last couple weeks, and we're going to try to tone it down today. I was going through some of the news of today, and it was pretty dry, but we got some good things to recap for you, talking about XRP within Q3. Team Ripple did a report, and so we're going to discuss everything XRP related. We're also going to discuss, is Solana the best altcoin pick amongst the crypto market? And we're also going to discuss, are we missing out on crucial returns right now? This is the After Hours show. Maddie, just kind of recapping last week, we did a great interview with Michael Steuer, the CTO at the Casper Association, and we got great feedback, by the way, first of all. But of course, with every single show, there's going to be people in the comments that are like, hey, what about this? What about that? What was kind of your takeaways from that interview?
I think I set you guys up with the right expectations for the interview before we even began. And some of you guys maybe didn't see that and maybe had the ideology that I was going to put Michael in the hot seat and just grill him, with some gotcha journalism. But that's not what we're out here for. And if you guys watch our channel any length of time, you know that the top priority here is giving you guys actionable insights, education, and getting you guys a better understanding. We talked a lot about, first of all, what makes Casper stand apart from other L1s, specifically with upgradable smart contracts. Michael's a very, very knowledgeable person, so I wanted him to kind of grind down on that for you guys. He talked a lot about that. We talked a lot about what the future of Casper looks like, specifically with some of the DeFi applications. We talked about router protocol and bridging liquidity like stable coins onto the Casper network. There is a plethora of topics in that nearly 50-minute interview that I think that you guys really should hone in on. So if you guys haven't watched it, it's here on our YouTube channel. It's free for you guys to watch. And that was on the episode that we did just last week. So I encourage you guys to go watch that if you haven't, especially regardless if you want to be an investor or not. I think that is great information for somebody to grasp if you're somebody who wants to get into DLT and crypto as a whole. Really highly educational.
You guys will definitely get those questions you have in the comments section answered on the Ask Maddie show this week. So if you have any additional ones, I already started kind of grabbing them because there are some ones where it's like, you guys didn't talk about Prove AI. I was like, I already told you we weren't going to talk about it. Like, I already told you we were thinking about, the future of Casper. Like, we kind of covered everything. We're getting the commentary from the X Base and what he was saying in Telegram. And we laid that out on the previous shows leading up to the interview, and the interview was about everything forward-looking, some contextual things about, his life, Casper Labs, and then thinking about the future of Casper. So I think we made that pretty clear. So if you guys were mad, screw you. I thought it was a great interview. But before we get into the news for today, the lackluster news of today, I think it's just because we have election day tomorrow, so everyone's talking about the election. So we'll get through some good pieces here still for you. Before we get into that, become a CryptoCharged member, team. Maddie, do you want to talk about what it means to be a CryptoCharged member?
Yeah, you got to do, 3 fingers up. You got to take an oath. No, guys, CryptoCharge is a educational platform. I've done a lot of research, and I've spent a lot of time and money on my own, coming from, me being, 18, 19 years old, trying to learn about the markets to now at almost 31 years old. And I know what a good program looks like, and I know what a bad program looks like. And even over the last 3 years of us running CryptoCharge, I've had a lot of great constructive criticisms from my team, and we've crafted our program to really kind of help people be as hands-on and actionable with their investing as possible. So we do updates Monday through Friday. Those are going to be live. If you guys don't catch them live, they are available for your guys' viewing at any time. You, of course, can adjust speed and, turn on captions and things like that. So you guys can watch that in your own speed. We have tons of jumpstart educational resources in there. So consistent investor strategy, a 45-minute video explaining our entire thesis. We've got Discord exclusive series covering, the basics of what we use for technical analysis. Tons of other little, 3 to 5 minute clips on the website to kind of just help you guys, if you're brand new, get involved. And then of course the Discord community is going to be a big piece of that. So that's a place to ask questions, be able to, get involved with real-time updates, all that information. Last piece though that people really, really love about our platform is our coin library. So what's the number one thing people always ask? Hey, what's a good place to buy? What's a good place to sell? Obviously, it's not financial advice, but we give you guys not only some of the charts, we give you guys the prices where we're suggesting potentially sending limits or DCA, or if we're going to be placing one strategy or the other, we give you a 3-step exit plan. But then there's also a very detailed written summary under each coin that we talk about on the show of why we think it might be bullish or bearish, some of the different things that we could see from an indicator perspective that might change that for you guys. So, please don't take my word for it. We give you guys 30 days free with code YouTube. So if you guys go check it out, you guys 30 days free. And then you also get 50% off any membership you guys choose. So either which way, come try out the free trial. If you're like, hey, this is not for me, Matt, it's not really the way I learned, no worries. Shoot me an email on day 29. We'll go ahead and get you guys squared away. But we want to give you guys at least the opportunity to come check us out at CryptoCharged.com.
Love that, Maddie. Let's get into the news for today. And Team Ripple released their Q3 report with everything XRP related. So the company is trying to be transparent and offer any updates with anything related to XRP. And they had some key highlights here. One of them being XRP's status as not a security. And it's so crazy, Matt, that even we're in November now and we still have to talk about just about July 2023, XRP being declared by Judge Torres not a security. And now we're in November 2024, and with the SEC appeal, and then you have Ripple's cross appeal, people are still freaking out that XRP is going to be I don't know, a security or something's going to go wrong with XRP. And it's so funny. They talked about in one of their highlights, they said, ongoing headwinds from the SEC suggest that its lawsuit against Ripple is a key factor impacting XRP's price. So Team Ripple thinks that because of the appeals and because of the SEC going after everyone in the crypto community, that it is still having an impact on XRP price. I just wanted to pin this up for you, Matt. Do you still believe this? Because at one point, when we look at last cycle, most definitely, but now in 2024, do you think this is still causing poor price action for XRP?
That's actually something I'm going to disagree with. I don't think that it's something that should be impacting price. And if, we're going to really say that retail consumers, the average person who's buying XRP, and remember, guys, the majority of retail out there, if you look at the XRP rich list, and maybe that's not around anymore, but you guys can still look at number of wallets that hold certain number of tokens. That's publicly available information. That the majority of XRP holders hold very little XRP. I'm talking about maybe $100 or less, right? And not to say that you're not important to the market or you're not a person, who cares a lot about the DLT and crypto. Everyone should invest the amount that they're comfortable with. I don't think the average person is hawkeyeing this lawsuit and all of the appeals and everything that's happening as closely as people might think they are. The big thing, again, remember with this appeal is the appeal cannot address the security status of XRP itself. This is strictly about the institutional sales that occurred and potentially, what amount of disgorgement they want from Ripple for them, selling unregistered securities to institutional investors. Again, these are supposed to be the big boys in the space that have deep pockets and have a deep understanding of what a security is, what a security is not. But nonetheless, I don't think that it's impacting price. You look at the way the altcoin market is behaving right now, 95% of the altcoin market is all behaving the same way. They're getting choked up by Bitcoin dominance. They're getting choked up by Bitcoin, trying to make a new all-time high with these strong variations in dominance, but still seeing that strong uptrend there. I don't believe that that is the major suppressor of price. In fact, I would say that most people still to this day don't understand the difference between XRP, the digital asset, and Ripple, the company. I saw some stupid comment on Twitter the other day, something to the extent of, XRP donated to Kamala Harris. Yeah. Like just that statement alone, right? Like just shows this clear disconnect between people like understanding like CEOs, CTOs, executives at a for-profit company and then a digital asset XRP and then the XRP ledger itself, which are all completely different entities. Yes, lots of inner workings together, but they are not all synonymous. So that's, in my opinion, the average retail investor doesn't understand what a security is. They don't understand what a digital asset is. And they're not going to be diving deep into this lawsuit to make sentiment decisions based on that, especially when we look at the majority of XRP holders not being very large holders in XRP.
Nice. Some other things they talked about, and just kind of rounding this out because we have covered this, is about institutional interest in XRP with ETPs, ETFs, and continued on this positive trajectory with Bitwise, Canary, 21 shares filing for S1s for XRP ETFs. Leading issuer Grayscale launched an XRP trust and filed to convert a multi-coin fund that includes XRP into an ETF. And so, Maddie, we've seen a lot of filings for some crypto assets like Zcash, like Solana. What are the odds that we get to see a spot XRP ETF this year?
I think it could maybe be not by the end of this year, but I think probably next year would be a very likely year for us to potentially see something like that. Again, even though there is active litigation from the SEC right now, it is still not contending the legal status of XRP, which is not a security. So if somebody wants to offer a ETF that mirrors the spot price of XRP, all they have to do is copy any successful Bitcoin or Ethereum filing and just insert XRP there, and it should, hypothetically in a vacuum get approved, right? Maybe they'll drag it out until all these appeals are done with the institutional sales of XRP. But tucking a spot asset that already has legal clarity into an ETF product really should not be rocket science. It should be very, very simple.
Arthur Hayes says Solana is a high beta Bitcoin amid U.S. elections. So Arthur Hayes, we talked about him earlier this year, and some background on this guy because it was interesting. I was telling Maddie the background on this guy before the show. He was one of the co-founders at BitMEX, which was a crypto exchange, and they had like $100 million fine they had to pay for bad AML practices. They're based out of a Providence in Canada, and he stepped down as CEO. And he was the first black crypto billionaire or something to that effect. So Maddie was like, give him a little golf clap for that. I thought that was funny because like it really doesn't matter to us. It's like, okay, give us some info now. So
Right.
Hayes views on Solana as a high beta Bitcoin, meaning it could outperform Bitcoin in bullish trends due to its high liquidity and quick movements. And I think, Maddie, you talk a lot about this with other altcoins. Hayes believes the Federal Reserve's, this was actually my favorite part of the whole news article. Hayes believes the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, particularly rate cuts, will have a more lasting impact on digital assets than the U.S. election results, emphasizing that market fundamentals should take precedence over political changes. Maddie, I think you agree with that, and we'll get your roundabouts
Yes.
here after this. He favors Solana over ETH, citing its agility and rapid value gains post FTX collapse, and advises investors to focus on assets like Solana in anticipation of potential monetary easing by the Fed. Maddie, I wanted to ask you, is Solana the top, what he would call a high beta, which is kind of correct, is the high beta Bitcoin amongst other altcoins?
I believe that Solana has performed incredibly well this cycle. It performed well last cycle as well, but we didn't see a specific kind of volume last cycle like we're seeing it this cycle, and that is going to be the meme coin volume that we've seen done on the Solana network. So previous cycle, Ethereum was the bread and butter when it came to meme coins, right? And one of the big things that was associated with that is that the fees and the transaction fees, the gas fees associated with the Ethereum last cycle got so astronomically expensive that a lot of times the NFT market became illiquid because you would go to sell an NFT and the fees would exceed the value of even what you paid for the NFT or the face value of that NFT a lot of the times. People would just take their hands off the gas and wait for a little bit less network congestion. Solana has a much more efficient consensus model, much higher TPS, much higher throughput. So there is this natural, gravity towards the Solana ecosystem when it comes to meme coins. So we saw really, really big flurry, a lot of volume done on the Solana network because of meme coins. Now, has Solana shown outside of the meme coin environment this particular cycle that there has been a aggressive institutional interest beyond what it was maybe even 3 years ago for Solana? I wouldn't say yes. I wouldn't say that it's exploded from an institutional standpoint. I think that we're going to see a lot of this volume go away back in the bear market, just like we saw with a lot of other assets out there. Now, Solana performing as like a high beta to Bitcoin. Yeah, obviously, if you had a gun to my head and you said, Matt, pick Solana or Bitcoin, of course I'm going to pick Solana every day of the week. It's a much smaller market cap. It's a lot easier to make price move, and also I think the fundamentals of Solana, just from a TPS standpoint, outshine Bitcoin 1,000 times over. I'm not a purist on the proof of work model. As a technology enthusiast, yeah, I think it's fantastic and I love it. As a practicality person, right, and somebody who lives in the real world and understands the financial friction in the bank, I know that we're not going to be like, yep, we're fine with this really slow mechanism that's slower than Visa and MasterCard. I just know that's not a reality. So at this point, though, when we see Solana see such massive gains from a chart perspective, leave a lot of gaps behind. We've talked with our team a lot about what the potential upside is to some of these next targets, and obviously, it's not as big as some of the other altcoins out there because it's done such a big move, and we've seen market cap increase so much, and now a lot more money is required in order to see market move significantly higher. So, if I really had to pick though, if I had to put ETH on the block and we had ETH, Solana, and Bitcoin from a risk to reward scenario, I think that Ethereum out of the three right now, even again, I think it's not the best network out there. I think that Ethereum has the best price potential right now because it has not done a proper breakout move yet. So less downside risk, far more upside reward, especially with kind of where market cap's at right now. So again, not giving you guys financial advice, not telling you guys to go buy ETH or Solana right now. We're just talking about Bitcoin, ETH, Solana because we're all discussing this particular context.
Yeah, Solana gets pinned up a lot, and I believe it was like just due to its like average daily volume, like the transactions per day is
Right.
pretty astronomical. I think it actually just flipped Ethereum recently. Maddie, what would you put in place of Solana there, right? So what cryptos would you put in place as like, because Arthur Hayes here, his pick is Solana. So what would be your pick?
Sure. So I think, again, a lot of people want to jump on the fastest horse, right? I hear that all the time. I swapped all this for a faster horse. And what they really mean is, hey, I saw a recent piece of price action that made me excited. And that piece of price action will always continue because that is what has happened. But the reality is, I would rather position myself in assets that haven't done that move yet, because there's a better risk to reward ratio and there's a lot more upside, especially when market cap is still low. Remember, guys, market cap needs to be a big part of your decision, not just, hey, what's the quote unquote fastest horse? I think that a lot of people are still overlooking the XRP opportunity right now because it's been consolidating for so long. When we talk about, again, the majority of the altcoin market, I mean, take your shit coins out of it, right? Let's take that nefarious volume out of this and let's pretend that that's not part of the bigger picture, because your meme coins will get regulated out eventually. And that's not me being cynical. I'm just telling you guys that there are too many people that get hurt in these meme coin rug pulls, right? More meme coins are rugs than not. And you will start to see SEC enforcement actions against some of these entities. And that's, again, not me for me to scare you guys. I'm just telling you the reality of the matter. If the SEC is going after legit companies, why would they not eventually go after the, poo-poo coins, right? Like, eventually you guys are going to get phased out. When you look at the opportunity, both fundamentally with XRP, the partnerships, all the evolution with Ripple, and you look at the fact that even Ethereum hasn't broken out to new all-time high yet, I don't think we should be impatient in doing this crazy Yankee swap game at the bottom, hoping that you pick the next fastest horse, right? For me, I think that XRP is an incredible opportunity right now. I think Zcash is even an incredible opportunity right now, even at current market price. Of course, buying the bottom like we were over at 18 to 20 was the best time, but next best time to plant a tree is today. So, again, not giving you guys financial advice. There's just a lot of assets out there: HBAR, API3, Zcash, XRP. All have not popped yet, all strong fundamentals, all good accumulation zones on the chart. And I would much rather pile my money into those than to try to play this game at the top with Solana and in hopes that we, are not guessing the correct market cap.
Maddie, so you brought up something interesting there about like the swaps right now, and feel like, kind of like generalizing what you said there is like the fear of missing out. In this chart, I saw this on Twitter today. It's the Bitcoin and gold standout in October. So you got returns this past October in 2024, and you see Bitcoin's the leader, you see gold following. And if you look at the little black dots, that is their monthly averages. And at the bottom here, you'll see Ethereum at the bottom, and its daily, or its monthly average, its average monthly average. Let me get this down there. Average monthly return. Why did I keep saying average? Average monthly return would be second, but this month Ethereum is the worst performing asset out of this, what we got going on here: gold, S&P 500, copper, and Ethereum being at the bottom here. And I saw a lot of Bitcoin maxis. This is like an automatic Bitcoin maxi repost for why you should be a Bitcoin investor. But obviously we could see that Bitcoin is front running, is ahead. And of course there's some other altcoins at play here that aren't attached to this chart. But Bitcoin is the leader in the crypto market. Bitcoin is the leader amongst all asset classes. So what is your message to people that look at a chart like this and get discouraged because they feel like they're missing out?
Yeah, I think even, for example, gold holders, they were very frustrated for about 3 years, where we, even in this last cycle where we had really, really big bullish impulses, kind of just stuck around and kind of created this big triple top for a long time. And finally you break out and you see plus 30, plus 40%, and they're jumping up and down about that. But really it's dismal rewards compared to what we see in the rest of the market. The other thing that we need to consider, and a lot of people talk about Bitcoin, they go, look at Bitcoin price this year and this year and this year, right? Of course, what are you really illustrating? Higher highs and higher lows. The reality is, if Bitcoin were to stay at elevated levels for extended periods of time, let's talk about stay at highs and create buy and sell walls at a much higher level for 2-3 years at a time, and then break into another cycle. Maybe then we could say, yeah, it's a store of value, right? Yeah, over time, your Bitcoin keeps getting worth more and more. But the reality is, Bitcoin acts like a leader, altcoins catch up, but that actual topping period for altcoins and for crypto is usually very short, right? Like, we usually hang out at that all-time high for a very short period of time. So it's not, in my opinion, really a store of value. They're very much risk-on assets. They very much move with how the economy is performing, how the Federal Reserve is approaching monetary policy. That's really how the majority of these assets move. And they will see nasty bear markets again. If you guys think that Bitcoin's going to get 200K and then we're going to see minus 30% because this time's different, you're sorely mistaken. And I know this not because of I have a crystal ball and I can see what happens in the future. I can see this because I know what happens to other tech stocks in the bear market, right? Of course, your Nvidias, your AMDs, your anything that's in the tech space is going to do really, really well in the bull market. It's going to outpace your individual, S&P 500 exposure, anything else. But also what happens in the bear market, right? Double-digit losses in single days, right? They're going to see the nastier depreciation because Again, you look at what people care about most when there's economic uncertainty, when there's international conflict going on. They don't want to flock to crypto. They don't want to flock to digital assets. I'm not a person who believes in that nonsense. I believe that crypto always moves with risk on market. So yes, Bitcoin will outperform gold and the Nikkei 225, the Japanese stock market, and U.S. oil, and a variety of other things. But altcoins, the majority of altcoins will always outpace Bitcoin by risk to reward ratio from cycle low to cycle high. There's very few coins out there that don't outperform Bitcoin by end of cycle. So again, if we're going to post this at this point in the cycle where Bitcoin's getting ready to break into an all-time high, of course, it makes sense. And everyone's like, oh, I'm an idiot for not owning all Bitcoin. But the reality is by end of cycle, and we all do the math, math ain't mathing as the absolute best performer. So again, making higher highs and higher lows, your portfolio always being worth more, over long periods of time. Yeah, absolutely. But let's not pretend that Bitcoin is the ultimate investment.
I love that, Maddie. Team, do not miss out on this opportunity. There's still, if you wanted to build an XRP position, you're not really missing out. You could start it today. And I think some of the things that we were wrapping up today with kind of the big XRP news pieces kind of give you an indication for the future of XRP. And if you want more coverage of that, I know that was kind of like a rip through about a little XRP segment there. We covered those all in detail on previous shows, right? Every single one of those, from the ETF filings, from the SEC Ripple, everything has been covered before. Just kind of rounding that about for you XRP holders, just kind of getting that all out there. I kind of want to get all of our altcoin latest news of the past couple months, because we are approaching a very critical time in the crypto market right now, as Bitcoin is eyeing that next move higher and looking to see a lot of money pour into the altcoin market. So I'm very excited for that, and you should be too. And I hope, honestly, team, I hope to see you in the Discord. I hope to see you become a CryptoCharged member so we can talk about this. I know you guys leave comments and stuff, and I try to get back to them. And some of you guys are great with that, but it's a little bit more intimate when you're in the Discord, right? So join us up there. Team, we're going to have a banger show this Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, the Ask Maddie show. A lot of responses probably to Casper. It's probably just going to be an all-out, little war with you guys. I know I was telling Maddie some of the ones before the show, and you guys are ruthless, honestly. It was our first interview, Matt, and these people are thinking we're what's Cooper? What's his? I don't know. The interviews, Anderson Cooper or whoever, they're going to sit there and, So, Michael, tell us about, how you got to this point in life, or some deep, what's the greater purpose of Casper, or
what's
something?
The meaning of life, Michael? Give us the answers.
Yeah, it's no, we just wanted to know about some future topics about Casper. What direction is, the association going to be taking the network, the protocol, and what reason should we be excited for, right? And so yeah, team, we got a lot of good coverage this Wednesday. I already saw the comments. I started picking them out. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a banger show. So team, you're going to want to show up for that show. But until next time, team, we will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.